All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to another Professional Friday. Today is very exciting because we have Elise Schatz with us. I hope her name is pronounced Elise. It's a German name, so I gotta ask her about that in a moment. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much alone. I'm just gonna switch over to the interview setup and introduce her. Here she is. Hello.
This is so fun. So lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for making time. Thank you very much for coming over. Maybe to answer that question, like, do you actually have any German family?
I do. I'm half German, and my grandfather's from the Black Forest.
Ah,
So, so yes, mein Schatzi is the family name. I love her so much. And then I will take the German pronunciation of my name. I like it better than the American.
how do the Americans pronounce your name?
Lease.
Lise.
You
Ah,
you
great.
don't buy a car, you buy a lease.
Oof.
I've
Well,
heard
okay.
people say lease. I don't
Alice.
think I've
Lise.
I've never been too particular about it.
Yeah,
I've also never had like any preference to either or.
I
If
see.
I
Yeah,
say hi,
here we
nice to meet you, my
usually.
name's Elise Schatz. That's
Ah,
it.
okay. Yeah, here we say Elise. Yeah. Yes. All right.
I like
Nice.
Eliza.
I would
Gotta
like you
work on my German
to
though.
I would like you to introduce yourself real quick, like kind of like who are you? What are you doing? Where do you come from?
Hello, my name's Elise Schatz or Eliza Schatz. And I'm a director. I direct music videos and commercials out here in Los Angeles. I like to say that my work blends fantasy and reality to this exaggerated reality. And I feel like we can explore what that means throughout our interview as well as shown through my reel.
Mm, that's a good segue. So let's check out your reel.
Hey, I'm full of those.
All right, let's go.
You hear the sound on yours?
Sim Simmer, who got the keys to my blood clot bimmer? Big time driller, monkey to gorilla. Who is this woman that I'm seeing in the mirror? Drink 42 and smoke cigar. Name one time where I didn't deliver. Silent figure, I was just on the ends, dropping gems with my friends. I got a 3310 and a pack of blems. Then got the gold full black, circle back again. Rapping when nothing progressive was happening. Ooh, pain tolerance couldn't break us. Pay homage if you respect how we came up. Cool. Rest in peace to Mac Miller. New Sims dropped to shake the whole shit up. What's next? We'll be here for months talking about prospects. Staying on my job, yes sir. And rain is against her. I'm river resistant on my polyester. Run through the jungle, they shoulda never let her. Cuts and wounds I hope never will fester. Yeah, big art collector, silent investor, film director. Beating on my chest, going ape shit, putting in a grave shit. Ain't like what you make it, yeah it is.
Nice, sick. That song is also so cool.
I have been dreaming of using that song for my reel since 2023, so I was obsessed and
Nice.
needed to use it for sure. I had made a video actually in 2023 that was just like a recap of everything I had made that year to that song.
Mm.
Um, it was well received, so I was like, damn, that is the best energy I could have for a reel possible.
Yeah, Zach also says here the vibes are so wild.
I was like, so like the musicality and like everything like that just made so much sense because I mean obviously directing music videos you have to have some kind of musicality. And I've always loved cutting to the music and really like building out the edit in that way. So I guess it just really made sense. It was one of those things that came together very naturally.
Do you have a background in editing? Like, do you come from editing?
No, well, kind of. The very first things I ever made were actually YouTube videos, and I started editing my own videos. I made GoPro adventure videos.
Uh-huh.
And I would just make these like little adventure edits with like a crazy EDM song that was popular at the time. And it would be like Hawaii 2014 or like Palm Springs 2015. And so kind of I would say I taught myself how to edit, and I was editing everything on iMovie.
Mm-hmm.
And those were some of the first films I ever made.
So kind of like turning your vacations with GoPro footage into sick videos, yeah?
I don't know if you remember or heard of this guy Sam Colder, but I was so obsessed with
Oh,
Bro
no.
back in the day. He just made like the craziest edits ever, and he was really like a big proponent of like the crash zoom transition,
Ah, yeah.
which was like just like so major at the time. So he really inspired me just to like start cutting together exciting edits. Yeah.
I would be interested in like kind of like understanding a bit more like how you started this whole like filmmaking thing. Kind of like, did you always do that a little bit and then just like evolved into your career? Like how did it happen?
The early days. I mean, I would say I've always had a proclivity towards cameras and rather sorry, I was getting a cold. I've always say I've had a proclivity for cameras, photography, visual arts, if you will. Actually, I was also really into dance and also really into, what's the other thing I was going to say? Dance, music. Oh, and drawing and painting. That was actually my first art
Ah,
form
okay.
I ever really practiced. So
Uh-huh.
big visual gal. And then, as I started growing up, I started making these edits on my own, and I started using my parents' camera on my own, and then my mom let me borrow GoPro, and so things just started kind of like going towards this like visual route. And then
See.
there was a film class this is actually funny. I was on the high school volleyball team, and I was so bad at volleyball. Granted, our team was undefeated, but we were also the worst team. So
What? How
ignore
does
that.
that
Ignore
work?
that. Ignore that. But anyway, so I remember doing volleyball, and then at the end of it, I was like, just can't do this. I want to take a film class. And so that year, in like 2016, I took my first film class, and I described that as the moment I woke up, because
Hmm.
nothing in my life really made sense until I took that film class. It was actually imperative for me to not only have the education, but it really put together what passion means, and also just inspired me so deeply to then feel like I have a mission to do for the rest of my life.
Wow.
So, that being said, it just kind of made sense. And then maybe I'm a bit obsessive about it. So, I didn't want to do anything else. And
Yeah,
so
well, that's
I did this my third year of high school, my junior year. It was when I had my first intro film class, and that's when I started learning the like craft of filmmaking, actually like making short films and such. And so then I started evolving through high school, just making different kinds of films. And I was on the school broadcast, and I was wanting to do this lip dub with the school, which I don't know if you remember it, but at the time it was this like big lip sync challenge that everybody was doing. And so I was like, let's
yeah.
do that with our school.
I mean that's how Musically popped off, right? Because that became so popular on there. Yeah.
Yes, bro. Yes, bro. So, yeah, again, that education was so important for me to like, again, come in contact with my passion and then like have an outlet for it.
Yeah, it sounds to me like
Sorry,
it's
sorry.
kind of like developed all kind of like naturally, and until like you were always very interested in all kinds of arts, it seems, right? And then once you went into that film class in school, it kind of like all the arts came together, and you felt like, oh, this makes so much sense now.
I really did. And I'm grateful to my high school because the part I have to mention is my high school film program was a part of this larger organization that connected a lot of high school film programs called Film Ed.
Uh
So
huh.
they had this little umbrella program. And it's impossible to talk about my passion in filmmaking without this, I should call it program, because what they provided for us was actually like crucial. I mean, education, but then also just like the facilities to like explore this passion. It was free through the public schools. They offered summer camps, 24-hour film festivals, 48-hour film festivals, the Orange County Film Festival. They lent us equipment and they taught us how to edit, and so that's how I learned Premiere. And so it was just so necessary to have that kind of education starting out. And what Film Ed has done since is like literally train some of the most prolific filmmakers I've ever met. And now they're all over the world, but like coming from Orange County, a lot of them moved to LA. A lot of them are still my friends, and they're still working in the industry. So this passion is shared and felt in so many different ways as well.
It's super cool to hear that you have like such a supportive film education system there. Because I don't, yeah, I mean,
Definitely something that's important to me to promote throughout my journey. And also just like one of the things I'm realizing is how important and necessary education is. And so, and again, that's the only reason why I was able to explore this at all, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like, if I need to compare it with, I mean, in Germany, we basically have no support for the arts at all, right? Like, we have music class in the school, but yeah, like film and video, there's nothing basically. Like, if you are
Really?
interested in it, you have to just do it yourself. Yeah.
Except the Calvert Digital Creative School. They're changing
Right.
the
Yeah, I mean,
narrative. That's
honestly,
why we're here today.
yeah, I mean, I wanted to start collaborating with like local schools and like kind of like have them show their students that like maybe we can do this together. But like I wrote 30 schools emails and not one of them replied. Like it just seems like this kind of concept is like so far out of German education systems, I guess, that they don't really know what to even do with it, how to even answer to that.
Interesting. Is it really? I don't know how to describe this, but like, is the education system just very strict and like
Yeah, it's
rigid?
it's pretty rigid, and it's also very much based on engineering. You know, like Germany as like as an engineering production country. Yeah. But maybe enough about
You
Germany.
gotta start walking in there. You gotta start walking in there and bring your courses and just say, "Hey, we gotta get to business."
We got to get creative, guys.
But
I
again,
would
it is
like.
really cool that you've started this. So at least we have some education going.
Thank you. Yeah, it's super fun. It's honestly been a really good time so far. I would like to ask you about your favorite creative project or experience so far. Like what was your favorite story in the creativity?
This one comes with a great story. It's also like sentimentally my favorite project, but I've learned so much since this project. So I'm just gonna go. It's a music video called Hypnotic. It's the first film you see in my reel.
Actually, I'm gonna play it on the background so people can check it out. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Switch
It's
over. Yeah.
the most special project I've ever been a part of, just because the lore of this.
Wait, this is not hypnotic. This is hypnotic.
There we go. Yes. The lore of this project is fucking hilarious. Anyway, so as you can see, this is not, well, that's Los Angeles, but that is not Los Angeles. So, Rama, for context, is my best friend since high school.
The musician?
Yes.
Ah, cool.
And we experienced this passion together in high school, except her passion was for music and songwriting, and mine was for filmmaking. And so I've made every music video of hers since high school. And
Nice.
this was the first time that we really wanted to take ourselves seriously. And this is the beginning of her project, Anomaly. And so we first off got to practice so much storytelling and world building for who she is and what she wanted to do. But we got 12 of our best friends to come out with us and shoot this film Utah, which is a 12-hour drive from, actually, I should say 14 friends. We all shared an Airbnb and we all drove 12 hours to go shoot on the salt flats. So this was also at a time where we are broke filmmakers, and so everybody came out for free because they really cared about the project. And as we get to shooting, first day out there, wind starts picking up, the weather starts getting really crazy, and we literally had to pack up our things and go.
Oh shit! Only one day.
On our drive out, yeah, we only had one day to shoot, and this was like the only time we could shoot. We literally drove here for this. Our schedule was this: Monday drive, Tuesday shoot, Wednesday drive, come back, and 2 nights shoot the rest of the night stuff. So we were blocked off for 5 days. And the fact that we had a crew, like, first off, able to do that is insane. But as we're driving out and the weather's picking up, the salt flats get really muddy. And we drove our cars out on there. And so, of course, the girl with the Jeep, my best friend, Tara, she's like, I got a Jeep. I can do anything. She drives through and we get stuck in the mud. We're literally like out the car trying to get all the dirt out from underneath her tires.
Oh, really? Everybody's like digging out the dirt?
It's not going anywhere.
Damn.
Second car gets stuck. Our gear van got stuck. Our fucking gear van. And so I'm sorry if I swear. I will not try to do that.
That's okay.
Our gear van also got stuck. And so we're all just sitting there like, oh, this is like so bad. This is like actually the worst case scenario. Literally by the grace of God and Utah's Good Samaritans, 2 guys in a pickup truck drive by. They see that we're stuck. And of course, they just have the chains to get our cars out. So Good Samaritan pulls the Jeep out. And then we had to daisy chain that truck to a second car to get the gear van out. Because that was like the tires and the water, like that was getting all the way up there. It was not okay. So anyway, eventually we pulled that one out too, and I've never experienced so much like relief and celebration in my life. However, the team reconvenes after this, and we all just look at each other, and we were like, "That was insane." Is everybody okay? Yes. And then my producers go, "Okay, we don't have to keep going if anybody doesn't want to. Put your hand up if you want to stay and keep shooting." And everybody put their hand up, and they were like, "We're fucking finishing this thing."
That's
and
a team.
That's the story. That's the story of Hypnotic. That was the best team ever. And truly shout out to everybody that worked on that. Lay those credits. And then this was also the first film that...
The scene here where she's in the water, is that like that's what happened, right? You said like when it was raining, it's like this was not planned. You just like kind of rolled with it.
Majority of everything we shot was after. Well, okay, so we started all this like dusky stuff and the sunset stuff was after. We left our cars parked and we just fucking walked after that. We were like, we will walk and just get what we get, not throw it. We actually got a lot of the daytime coverage before wind started picking up. To finish the lore about this, this was actually my first film to get into NIFTY, which is a festival I actually learned about through film ed back in high school. And it was really imperative. Well, I should say it was my goal to get into NIFTY. And so this film got us there.
Nice. Yeah, that's a crazy story. I mean, it must have felt like you barely survived that situation, like all alone in the desert, like in the muddy desert.
Make creative decisions. Yeah, and to still make creative decisions that are going to uphold the story was so difficult to do under all that stress, which was just a great learning experience, honestly, because shit just gets crazier.
Yeah, when you can perform under stress, I guess, like when you're under stress, you gotta really rely on your instincts, right? Like creativity wise.
Yeah, honestly, big part of the job I've realized is just sharpening your intuition.
Mm. Yeah, that's totally
You have to
true.
make the right decisions. What I
Feeling the
learned.
right decisions.
It's the theme of today. Actually, no. My theme is if something's not working, you gotta find another way around.
Yeah, that's always true. Just stay adaptive. Don't be too married to your original idea. Always stay spontaneous, I would say.
You gotta stay nimble. Yes.
Yes. Light on your feet. Sprint out of here.
Oh, see ya.
No, not really. I also want to ask you, what is your goal for this year? Then, like, where you wanna go? Like, where's your direction heading to?
I've done a lot of music videos now, and I love music videos. I really do. I would love to continue making them. However, I really would love to get into commercials more. So, my goal for the year was to direct my first commercial, which I am actually doing in a week.
Mm.
Tomorrow, next Saturday. That's
Nice,
actually
congrats.
I'm just like, oh no. So insane. But that being said, getting more into the commercial space has always been my goal. But I would say my goal this year is actually to finish my script, finish my short film script, because it's been my goal since I started to be a narrative director and to, direct features. And so I guess the only way to do that is to make the script, honey. I have been very lenient with that though, so I don't feel super called to make it yet. I know that when the time comes, I will feel called. If that is this year, that's great.
Uh,
It'll be a good goal to have.
I didn't fully like. Is this your first narrative film, or did you do narrative work before that, outside of music videos?
I mean, technically, I've made short films before, but they were through school and not very anything. So I would say I started my professional career in 2021, and that is the current like portfolio that I have. But actually, yeah, anyway, I'll leave it at that.
All right.
And then
Yeah,
my
okay,
goal
very-
this year would actually be to work with a storyboard artist. I've wanted to work with a storyboard artist for so long.
Okay. So
And
you've
just like
did you draw your own storyboards up to this point, or you work mostly without storyboards?
yeah, I draw my little stick figures and we get
Hmm.
by. But
It's enough.
it's always been my dream to have a storyboard artist just like actually draw people the way that they look, and then it's so much easier to execute. But honestly, stick figures do the job every time, so can't be too mad about it.
That's a cool goal to work with a storyboard artist. That's a cool goal. Can I ask you about your script, like what it's about, like what you want to make your movie about?
Well, I know a few things. I know that I have a 5-girl sitcom called Broken Bel Air. It may or may not be autobiographical. But I live in a house with my best friends, and that's a script I've been working on, as well as I would love to direct a musical.
Oh, nice. Yeah, musicals are very exciting.
And that would make so much sense because I have a music video background, and I was like, you know what? If I come out the gates with a musical, that would be crazy. Because it would be the chance to explore original music, original soundtrack, not me, but the idea. And then we'd be able to really practice everything that I've done in music video, but then of course like lend it to this narrative storytelling. So
Have you watched Crazy Ex-Girlfriend? That is like mixing kind of like a sitcom with musical in a very fun way.
The Dochi music video?
No, the series is called Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Oh, wait, I'll have to check it out. I was like, oh, there's a Dochi song called I Hate Your Ex-Girlfriend.
Ah, okay.
Let me look it up. I hate. Okay, well. Oh, it is. Okay, yeah. I Hate Your Ex-Girlfriend featuring Dochi. There we go.
I see.
Okay, wait. What's it called? Your ex-girlfriend?
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. It's yeah, it's a
Crazy
very
ex-girlfriend.
very funny TV show where they mix musical with yeah, sitcom. Yeah,
Crazy ex-girlfriend. Okay, fire. I'll have to check it out.
give it a watch. Exactly. Yes, yes, it's very good.
Okay, I'll have to
Um,
check it out.
maybe since maybe we will have enough time. Maybe I usually want to talk a little bit more about the industry, but since you need to leave in 15 minutes, I would go into viewer questions now, and then try to still get our mind exploration thing going. Okay.
So excited for that.
All right. So if
And
anyone
also,
has
I will try to
questions,
not be so wordy.
what
We can
does
knock
that
out.
mean?
I'll try to not be so long-winded when I answer things. I have a tendency to yap.
Ah, no, it's been fine. Everything you said was very interesting.
Yapper over
So
here.
it's cool. It's cool. So yeah, anyone who has questions, write them in the chat. Or if you are a student, you can come into the live stream channel on Discord and just talk to us directly, ask us questions directly. Yeah, let's give them a few minutes. Maybe in the meantime, I will just tell you what this mind exploration thing is about in general, so you can like maybe prepare a little bit. So it's basically yeah, figuring out how your imagination and yeah, your thinking process works. By basically, I'm gonna ask you to imagine things, and you're gonna tell me, you're gonna walk me through what you see, or what you can feel, or what you can smell. Like basically, just like try to like take me with you as detailed as possible, so we can kind of like start to understand where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are. It's yeah, it's very interesting because everybody has like a really different way of imagining things, and also like different triggers what sparks the imagination. Like one guy I interviewed, for example, he had very difficult to imagine things visually, but once I asked him to imagine music, then suddenly like a whole world started building. So it's very very interesting.
So cool. Okay, well, I'm excited to try this out.
All right. We didn't get any questions in the chat yet. Let me
There's,
see.
oh my God, Zach.
Zach is in the call. Zach, do you have a question?
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you. Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay, yeah.
All right.
Great. Well, hey, appreciate the interview so far. It's been great and fun to listen to. I I have an interesting question. Well, I have a question just, that I guess kind of sprouting from some of the conversation surrounding, you've been shooting kind of like off-site, like on different sites, like you mentioned the salt flats and stuff like this. And for all of these different environments that you're going to be shooting in, I'm sure that you've had to bring in like different cameras and lighting setups, or different mic setups and whatnot. And I was wondering, and this is I guess on the practical like business end of things, but like you know kind of the relationship between renting and owning and like your own equipment versus somebody else's equipment, and kind of how you've struck that balance to create your own videos.
Yeah, so great thing about music videos is that the budget isn't always zero, and you should have some money to be able to go through rentals. So the great thing about Los Angeles, though, is there's a surplus of resources, and also with friends, you have a lot of connections to equipment and gear. So there shouldn't ever be a shortage of trying to source these things. And also, it just gets easier once you actually have a solid network to pull from, rent from, and collaborate with. So, in terms of actually renting gear and like assembling all of that, it's why it helps to have a great producer. Not only budget everything out, you also can organize all the rentals. However, on a good day, I'm not doing any of that. So that's all the producer. That's all the producing side of things. And the great thing about being a DP, or I should just say, like literally any other job on a film set, being a gaffer, being a sound mixer, these are all very, of course, technology forward jobs. It requires a lot of equipment to be able to do these things. As a director, skills that I've been able to sharpen are all very soft skills, very intangible skills. So that being said, a big part of my education and like my desire to become a better director is to continue learning what these tools are, because that allows you to dream bigger, and it also allows you to dream just a certain way. But actually, the physical renting of stuff just comes from either rental houses or independent owners. And again, just the more people I meet in the industry, they have their own equipment. A lot of people rent out their own kits, and they make it very accessible and easy to make these visions happen.
So would you say like mostly when you work with people together, you kind of like rely on their equipment, like them owning or having contacts to get equipment for shoots?
So hold on really quick, it's hot. There we go. The answer is yes. How do I answer this?
Yeah, no, I
Answer is
think
yes.
I think it was pretty clear. Yeah.
Yeah, you either rent from just a business or an individual.
Yeah. Does that answer your question, Zach?
Yeah, absolutely. I
Thank you
can't
for the
imagine how flexible it is. Or how flexible you have to be to, I guess shoot in all these locations. So thank you.
Thanks for the
course.
question.
Thank you.
We also have Wrench asked here, how do you direct? I guess that's like it's an interesting question because like can you kind of like tell what your directing style is, or do you have like any specific methods you like to use?
How do you direct? I say directing is taking your audience, taking your crew, taking everybody a part of the vision across a bridge to reality of understanding your idea. And the way you do this is through communication, visual references, treatments, decks, and just again a lot of talking. And so what I realized about directing is it's a very vocal, communicative job. Literally, I spend the majority of my day just like texting or calling my crew members and just like having conversations about what we're going to be doing. Of course, you also have to have the like technical understanding of lighting, camera, sound, VFX, every department, costume, makeup, whatever, so that you can have a dissective knowledge on your film, be able to break down your idea and understand what you need to create your idea, take people across the bridge, and of course, execute what you're envisioning in your mind. And again, a big part of directing has also been sharpening that execution skill, ability to execute. If I see something in my head and I want it to look a certain way, for example, that hypnotic VFX bubble, I'm very interested to see how this fits in the meditation, but I heard the song for the first time, I heard the mix, and there's this like whiplash sound in it. The only thing that I could think of was a match cut and a huge explosion. This also came from a time where I was really inspired by this like massive blue orb that I saw one time, which we can get into that. But
You just saw a huge orb out of nothing.
substances may or may not be involved. Anyway,
It's natural curing orbs.
Exactly. It's really about being able to understand what your idea is, communicate it to everyone, understand what you need to execute that idea. And of course, like having the practical knowledge of all of these things to actually be able to control the outcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
that's how you direct, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, directing
but I'm
really
still
is
figuring it out.
A huge topic, right? Like, there's so many ways and tools you can use to like do it and understand better. So it's a huge topic for sure. But I think you gave some nice examples of what helps to direct well. Yeah, and that communication is a key part of it.
Yeah, that's my approach to it, at least.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you need to leave in 5 minutes, right?
Oh, you're okay. I don't have a heart out. I'm enjoying these questions.
Okay, cool. Because if we still have a little bit of time, I would still go through the rest of the questions, and then we can do our mind exploration.
Yeah, let's do it.
Nice. Okay. So, Kilua asks you, does she have ancestor in Germany because of the name? I think we talked about it in the beginning, right?
I do. My grandfather's name is Klaus. And actually, everybody on this chat, I made a documentary about my grandfather.
Oh.
It's called My Opa Likes Round Numbers.
Oh,
And
that sounds cute.
I need to post about it eventually, one way or another. But if you guys tap into my channels, then you can see that coming out very soon. I would love
Very
for you guys
nice.
to watch it. It's very wholesome.
It's not released yet? Like, you're still releasing it?
Yeah. Ideally, I would want to have a little bit more in line before I just like drop it, but we'll get there.
Okay. Oh yeah, on that topic, if you want to follow Elise on her socials or check out her website, the QR code is in the corner there. Oh no, over there.
Oh, that's so
Yes,
cool.
in that direction. Just scan that and you'll be on her website.
Elise.mov. So I see a Skylord in the chat.
Skylord. Oh, I don't see this. Oh, Skylord here on TikTok. Yes, he said hi. We have another question from Keanu here. He asks, any advice for beginner filmmakers with limited resources? Yeah, I guess that's interesting. Like, how do you get the most out of limited resources?
Yeah, well, again, you have to ask yourself, like, what does your idea entail and what do you need to execute it? So for me, I've always known I'm an art forward director where I love production design. And so it makes a lot of sense for my ideas and my brain to start there. So any advice for beginner filmmakers is just each film I've made, I want to practice one thing. I want to practice specific like production design. Hypnotic, I wanted to practice really great location, but also really using VFX to amplify the story. For another project, I really wanted to dial in lighting and get lighting right and practice lighting. So I think my advice for beginner filmmakers with limited resources would be try to practice one element of the craft through your film that you're creating at each time. And this is from a girl that didn't go to film school. I wanted to make films. And so I guess my other advice is just to make it, even if it's on your phone. You have to have the wherewithal to want to do it. You can't just like wait for an opportunity per se. The way that I started with limited resources was actually not with filmmaking at all, though, which I do think is important to mention, because filmmaking is just difficult because it just requires so much stuff, which I can really empathize with. But it's just so much stuff. But yeah, no, practice one thing at a time. And then my other advice is if you have an idea, you just need to execute it. My favorite thing I've ever heard from a girl on TikTok is your ideas have shelf life. And if you don't execute on them, then they get old and potentially moldy, or somebody else in the world is the vessel to bring that idea to life. And so there's a bit of urgency there as well to create something eventually. If you just keep putting off your ideas as well, then of course it's never going to get made.
Interesting. Yeah, like I had someone, like an interview I had with someone called Phil Flock like a few weeks ago. He said the exact opposite. Like, he said you should keep your best ideas to do last, to like have all the resources to be able to do them properly. But yeah, I can see both sides. What do you think of that?
Yes and no. I definitely understand where that person's coming from. And I also have ideas that I want to wait to execute on until it's the right time. But that's why there are like, maybe certain things you keep to yourself. But at the same time, though, there are certain ideas that I wish I made. I never made. What's the difference? You're just not going to make it until the right time. Like, what's the right time? There's no right time. Again, there's urgency with this stuff. If this is your passion, like it is mine, I just like needed to do it. There was like no part of me that was willing to wait anymore. I got so like annoyed almost. I got so heated about it. I was just like so ready to create something. So So again, the way that I actually started creating in the first place, which is an important part to mention, I was working a corporate job. I needed a way to express myself. I started shooting self-portraits on my iPhone and editing them in Photoshop. So that's how I started creating certain ideas I had. Of course, this is for photo with my limited resources. And I was just setting things up in my bedroom. And that's how I started making TikToks and videos, was just actually by sharing this like self-portrait stuff. So, I mean, that being said, with limited resources, you have to get creative. And if you still have an idea, you have to find a way to execute on that idea. Again, it's about the execution.
Yeah.
However, that you can birth it into the world is okay. You also have to be okay with being bad at things. And so, like, my first films are awful and so bad. But the only reason why I was able to get better is you have to just be fearless a little bit and understand that a lot of mistakes will be made along the way.
Yeah, and just have fun in the moment, I think, like just enjoying the process of making art and videos. I think just keep focusing on that is very helpful instead of like always keeping in mind where you want to go, like you want to be a successful director or whatever, but it's important to just have fun and enjoy the moment, I think. Yeah. Yeah, cool. I think we have one more question we can answer here, and then let's get to the exploration. Geisterhose, which means ghost pants, asks, what's one insight or realization that had the biggest impact on your creative journey?
I actually want to say, and it's something I already kind of brought up, but I think the biggest impact on my creative journey was realizing what directing was, and it was having this dissective knowledge. When I discovered the word dissective, and it just like popped into my head one day, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense for everything that I've been doing. And so, one insider realization of the biggest impact. So honestly, that made me okay. So when I realized that you have, as a director, you have to have this dissective knowledge of your idea to be able to make it come to life, it made me want to learn every aspect of the process that much more and then get better at it. So I want to be able to talk to my gaffers in the same language and like say, like let's bring the key from this side, or let's like add a strobe on this light. I want like a pulse from back here, like and understand how light interacts with my subjects. Also want to know how coloring works so I can have a lot smoother coloring sessions with my colorists, because I just spend so much time like, it just doesn't look right. Like, why doesn't it look right? No, I like purple and blues in the shadows. I like clean highlights. Can you bring up the dynamic range? Like, create an S curve, like all this stuff,
Understanding the language too.
Exactly. And so, like, the more you have a dissective knowledge on what this idea is, I know I want to shoot spherical versus anamorphic on my lenses. And then you just start to take a lot more creative liberties. By having this dissective knowledge, it's like learning a language. So I realized, okay, maybe this is also a big realization, is like the more you know in general. I mean, this goes for life. Like the more you know about anything, you're able to think in it like a language with fluency. So for me, if I want to be fluent in the language of filmmaking, or I should say, or like the department of camera, the department of makeup, the department of production design, I have to know what these things are called and how they interact with each other, because then that informs how big I can dream. If I don't know the language I'm speaking, I don't even know how tall the ceiling is. And then I could be boxing myself in to certain ideas. So I think my realization is that knowledge is power and will set you free.
Yeah, that's a good realization. Yeah, that's nice.
It also got a lot more fun to talk to people.
Oh, because you then like saw the value in conversing about all kinds of topics, right? Like you saw getting value out of that always.
Exactly. You're able to have a lot more intentional conversations and not waste time trying to like get to what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have a similar realization where like I suddenly realized to not feel bad at all about asking questions, right? Like now I ask questions or I say so many times I don't understand what you're saying. Can you explain it to me, right? Like, and there was a time where I felt like weird about not knowing stuff, but now just like fully owning it and not feeling bad about it, it all really made conversations so much more productive and insightful. Yeah, because the other person
100%. Yeah.
yeah, the other person usually also enjoys explaining something they enjoy to you. So yeah, there's not really any harm being done.
In this male-dominated industry, they love it.
Yep.
Also, I there's one more person that popped up in the chat or like on video. I don't know how Discord works, but am I
Oh yes,
seeing that
Skylord.
properly?
Yeah. But how this works is that people with like everyone can join the stream, but only people with a student membership can actually talk. That's how it works.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. If yeah, but yeah, I think we should move into the exploration thing. Let's try that out.
Let's do it. I'm so excited.
Let's do it. All right. Okay, let's relax for a bit. I want you to try to just like, yeah, try to not be in an interview. Just try to be by yourself. Just try to like, yeah, have your thoughts be free and wild. Yeah, and then when I ask you the first question, I just want you to run me through whatever happens in your mind, whatever, like whether it's a visual thing, whether it's a auditive thing. Yeah, just talk me through it. All right, are you ready?
Cool.
Okay, I would like you to imagine an apple.
I'm imagining a bright green apple sitting on the table in front of me. Brat green. And also my favorite color, chartreuse.
Mm-hmm. Can you explain to me how that appeared in front of you? Was it instant?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Since
Can you get closer to that apple and look at all its detail? Explain to me how the apple's made up.
on my apple, there are some water droplets because those refract light very beautifully. I also see it's a solid apple. It doesn't have too much discoloration. And this hotel room I'm in is nice and modern, so it's contrasted with that. But it's on a white table, and she's a beautiful apple.
Nice.
It's glowing.
It's glowing like a fresh apple. Can you try to pick that apple up with your hand?
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel and look to you?
Well, it feels like a normal apple with a good amount of density. It's not too heavy, but I don't want to eat it though because black green apples are pretty sour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
I'm a Honeycrisp gal.
If I ask you to take a bite though, like, and you taste the apple, can you imagine the taste? Can you like the sensation of sourness? Is that like kind of like a real physical reaction? Like, can you kind of like feel tasting this, or is it more like the idea of the taste?
No, I could imagine a green apple and how tart it is. It also doesn't have the same level of crunch that I would usually like from a Honeycrisp apple. So maybe I should have envisioned a Honeycrisp. But Granny Smiths usually don't have that same crunch on the skin, which I don't like, which is why, again, Honeycrisp girl.
Yeah, I would like you to get a little abstract now. Can you try to turn that apple into an airplane?
One way or another. I feel like I'm AI generating an Apple airplane in my brain right now. What I really wanted to do is crack open the apple and see what's inside.
Oh, did you do that? Did you imagine what would happen if you do that?
Yeah.
And what happened?
Well, I wanted to go through a little portal inside the apple. I don't know if it would be like inside of a clock, with like all that like workings, but like I want to go somewhere in the apple.
Hmm? You want to be in an apple
Or if
world.
we want to go inside of an airplane, the apple. Maybe more fun though and more abstract is flying through the sky.
Okay, let's just go with that. So you're inside of a flying apple now. Is that what's happening?
Well, I open the apple and I can go through this portal, and now I'm in the sky.
Ah, also there was a portal inside of the apple that you entered. I see. Okay. And you're free falling through the sky now?
Hmm.
Okay.
I have
Oh.
skydived before. It was so fun.
Oh, nice. I want to try that out still. I've never done it. But you stay in your imagination. How can you do you feel this kind of like zero gravity feeling? Can you kind of like physically feel this lightness when you imagine this?
Kind of, but I think more pressing is how wind kind of hurts your face.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though you're falling, and even though you do have to really come to all of your senses and say, I am falling through the sky right now, you can't help but have a dry mouth when you do it. Because like, if you open your mouth at all, it's just you're getting so blasted by wind, bro. Negative 9.8 seconds per seconds or whatever. Whatever free falling is.
I would like you to imagine or like figure out where you are falling towards. What is your goal?
It would be sick to like slide down a street lamp pole like the parkour guys do. I saw a video recently of this guy who's literally hanging onto a bridge and then he just like jumps onto a street pole. So my perfect skydive would be I'm falling and then I just like perfectly land on this street pole.
And just slide down it.
Don't even need a parachute.
That's pretty sick, yeah. Very effective. Can you kind of like, I asked you a few things to imagine already. If you would have to put like kind of like how clear you see your visual imagination into percentage, with 100 being like your real vision and 0 being nothing, how clear is your imagination?
I want to say like 99%.
Yeah, so basically when you imagine something,
Visual gal.
it feels like you are there, like it's almost the same as visual.
I mean, like a big part of being a director is being able to see what I'm imagining and then be able to recreate it. So I have to be able to see these images before, or like as we're making them. And if it's not how I imagined in my head, then I have to tweak something to make it closer to that. There is, however, translation process, or like there's just so much stuff that can happen that gets in the way of that visualization. Anyway, I'm kind of going on a tangent, but yeah, I have to be able to see it very clearly. So I want to say 99%. The 1% is because I'm human.
Yeah, that's interesting. So do you think you always had this ability to like very clearly imagine things?
I'd like to think so. I'm an only child, so I spent my days daydreaming a lot.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess that also made it
Always
easier
been-
for you to go into arts, right? And into visual arts, because yeah, it really
Yeah,
is easier.
always been a little dissociative as well. Not on this plane.
Yeah, I mean that goes hand in hand with a strong imagination and wanting to be somewhere else. Okay, I would like, if we can go for a moment back into imagination, I would like to try kind of like a bit more abstraction things. Like, for example, if we can go back to you being on that street lamp now, right? Like you landed on the street lamp and you're sliding down and landing. Exactly. Can you
Stick the landing.
can you take, for example, can you imagine taking that street lamp and turning it into a sword in your hand?
That'd be sick. Oh my god, it'd be so funny to like steal a car like GTA, run into the street lamp would fall over, and then all of a sudden you just go sword. Boom.
Nice.
I also just committed GTA in this vision.
I'm interested in how you imagined that happening, exactly the transformation from street lamp to sword.
Well, I didn't want to just like change it. I wanted to have a way to bring the street lamp down to me. And the only way I could imagine knocking the street lamp over was GTA style. Run it over with
So you wanted to give it kind of like a realistic approach, how to like do it in some way, even if it wasn't like still realistic. You wanted to like have
I
a
was like,
part,
how
yeah.
can I get this street lamp into my hands?
Mm-hmm.
And you can do that with a car.
I guess it would be worth trying out.
No, I might try it after this, honestly. I
Okay.
love a sword. Ooh, I want this sword to be made out of crystal. That would be sick.
Can you tell me about that crystal sword?
I want it to refract light, whichever one, a really stunning way. So rainbows going through that thing.
It's like rainbows
Then,
sprawling out of the sword.
ooh, it'd be cool if like the handle had opal. I love opal. Moonstone. Be so pretty. Like an Elsa sword, bro. My hair used to be blonde like Elsa. It was so fun.
Like
Those were the days.
you used to color it?
Oh my gosh. Let me see if I have a photo. Yes. Platinum blonde, bro.
Yeah.
No, those were the days. Except my hair is fried now, so can't do that again.
The Elsa days. But yeah,
Really?
I would say that kind of like concludes the experiment. With
Okay. What'd you think about my brain?
yeah, it's definitely again different than the other experiments I've done with my other guests. In the sense of, oh, you got a different vibe here for sure.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like Elsa
Yeah.
hair, dude.
Just like a different personality a little bit.
Literally. She's a cunt.
You think so?
I was quite nice in high school. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That was so fun.
Yeah. So like kind of like where I saw the difference, or like what your imagination made it was unique, I guess, was that you kind of like have a very own way of storytelling. Kind of like when I asked you to do things, like you really went into kind of like in a B direction, right? Like you attack the problem from a different direction instead of head on. So that was interesting. I haven't seen that before. So maybe that says something about your process.
Or divergent. That's hilarious. Well, that was truly so fun. And so thank you for that psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis. There we go.
Well, thanks for participating. It was very, very
I
interesting.
will be back next week to do the same thing. Let's do it again.
Every week now. Okay. You'll be my guest for every Professional Friday now.
Really, we're really going to get into my brain here. We really got to understand what's going on in here.
Going like to like full 12-hour meditations and just like daydreaming for 12 hours straight.
Yeah, literally just like...
Dex says you are hilarious.
Let's go.
Fantastic and peace. Wait, Ken says, I hope you don't mind me asking, but you seem generally enthusiastic and at peace with yourself. What happened? What keeps you optimistic and upbeat? Also interesting. If you still have time, you can answer that too.
Wait, that's such a beautiful question. First off, considering I just woke up, so I'm also kind of sleepy. That's really beautiful. I get to wake up and live a life that I genuinely love. I love life. I love living. I love experiencing people. I love making connections. And I love exploring my passions. And I think this lust for life really influences my outlook And life is chaotic. There's so much shit going on. I get overwhelmed very easily. And also dealing with clients or people's egos in film is so difficult sometimes. So like you need to have this like passionate backbone, because it's like, why else are you doing it? Like there's so much bullshit that happens day in and day out. Like if you don't have passion, then why are you doing it? Or like why are you doing anything? And so I'd like to think that passion really guides everything that I do. I also just, again, am inspired and happy to live life. And that makes me want to keep going. I also want to make this damn musical, so we got to get there.
That's the main inspiration, the main driver for you to stay happy.
But
We gotta make this music video, this musical.
Literally, Keanu, thanks for asking that question. That's very impactful.
Yeah, thank you.
And on that note, cheers.
Cheers. You're drinking coffee, I'm drinking matcha. They both have caffeine.
Let's go
coffee
matcha.
addict.
This is like straight to the jugular Americano.
Damn. That's a pond. Yeah,
I'm gonna
okay.
get a breakfast burrito after this.
Awesome. That would, wrap it up for me. Like, I'm very happy you gave me, a good chunk of your time today. It was very, very nice, lovely talking to you and figuring out your imagination.
Well, again, I'm so honored. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you very much. All right. Then I would say goodbye to you for now, and I'll see you again.
I'm here whenever you need.
Thank you.
It was so lovely talking. Thank you guys for the questions. That means so much to me. And if you DM me or email me more questions, I will do my best to respond in a promptly manner.
Very nice.
But anyway,
very
I
nice.
hope to talk very soon.
See you soon. Bye bye.
Have a great day. Bye bye.
Thank you too. All right. Yeah, that was the interview with Elise. It was very, very nice. Very nice. Yeah, she's a very upbeat person, very upbeat personality. It was very very enjoyable talking to her, and also her creative process is also unique to her. Like I haven't talked to a person quite like her before, so it was very nice. It was very nice. Thank you everyone for joining this Professional Friday. I'm going to do the next stream. There's two Calvus in frame. He's watching? Oh, you mean this guy? He's my stand-in in case I need to go. He's gonna take over. Demon Kala. He's gonna come back at some point. I just figured out this feature recently, so yeah, I'm gonna use it for all kinds of shenanigans. But yeah, I'm gonna be back in around 20 minutes for the Create Together live stream. I've already saw we have a submission from a student, so we're gonna look at that. If you are a student, make sure you send your stuff in so we can work on it together in the live streams. And if you're not a student yet, you can easily get a 7-day trial on Patreon. And try out my mentorship program. All right, I hope to see you guys again in 20 minutes around, and have a great time until then.